It's the Opie and Anthony Show.
Opie and Anthony.
Radio shock jocks.
Opie and Anthony.
See, for guys that want to try to make it in radio, because we get those tweets and emails all the time, do not outline your entire show.
Oh,
that is the worst thing you could do, because then you feel like you got to stick to that schedule.
Right.
You got to be prepared. We're prepared. But we're very unorganized. We do not have an outline. We have a whole bunch of little things we could possibly go to. But like yesterday, Ant decided to talk about tin knocking. It came out of nowhere, and it was a great 40-minute segment. But they wouldn't be able to do any of that because they would be panicking that, like, oh, God, we have the funny song segment. Or
right, we can't not play it.
Just be a funny guy.
Right.
Like, instead of all this shit, just be funny.
Right.
And stop doing the fucking fake, phony voice. It stinks, dude. Hey. It's not funny. It's fucking 2014. That's an 80s thing.
It certainly is.
Please don't. No, exactly. I'd rather listen to someone that makes me laugh.
Right. Exactly.
Entertaining.
In the end, if you're making people laugh or making them think or entertaining them in general, yes, of course, you got them.
Possibility to be entertaining. That's it.
That is all this is about. If we get someone writing and saying, hey, man, you make my commute a little easier, that's all you're trying to do here in the end. I do have to say one thing. When we were at AF, and to some extent NEW, it was still cool to hang out at a radio station.
Oh, yeah.
The atmosphere was such.
Right.
Especially after 5 o'clock when the suits went home.
A lot of camaraderie.
Yeah, it was definitely a cool place to be, and you definitely got a lot of material for your radio show just by hanging out and fooling around a little bit.
The entire building was fixated on a single goal, to be successful and bring the station to number one.
Right, but I swear to you, the worst thing you could do as a young broadcaster is hang around a radio station.
Yeah.
It's horrendous.
You could find a Denny Falcone to maybe get some knowledge from.
It's a horrendous place to be creatively.
Yeah.
And there's always the suit just kind of hovering that is going to say no to every idea you come up with.
Yeah.
So the best thing you can do is get the fuck out as soon as your show's over. And no offense to SiriusXM, it's like this everywhere. I don't know what's going to change that.
I learned a lot more, pounding the pavement outside the building.
There you go.
I'll tell you that much.
That's right.
You got lawyers around radio stations now. You got human resource people around now. We should just have naked women in our office because we could.
Oh, my God.
After the show, we would just hang, have a beer or two, and
crazy.
And girls would come in and just get naked.
Yeah.
You would get fired immediately if they knew that was going on.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Well, the philosophy I've always had about radio is there's a lot of egos in radio. Yeah. And so there's a lot of guys, I don't feel like naming names today, but a lot of guys, they have to be the funniest guy in the room. They have to be the most creative, the most interesting. And we took the tact, like, if you come on our show, we're going to fucking sit back and listen to what Joe Rogan has to say, because you come in well prepared and you blow our mind every time you come in. But when I go home and I'm in among my friends and family, they go, wow, that was a really good show today. I get the credit in the end. So who gives a fuck who the funniest guy is in the room or the most interesting? But a lot of radio guys never understood that fucking concept. So it goes back to your thought. Everything has to be, all right, for the next 15 minutes, we're going to do this, and then we're going to move on to the interview. And if you get a laugh, I got to make sure I get a bigger laugh. That's an exhausting way to do it.
It's really dumb, too. It's like, why would you not want other people to be funny?
Right.
How does that make you less funny? Like, the idea that your entire body of work that you've done up until now is meaningless if this other person is funnier for a brief moment.
Of course. And,
it's so stupid. It's like, why would you be even affected by it at all if someone else is doing well?
But the business is filled with those guys.
It's so weak. It's the worst instinct to have.
Guys.
Comedy is as well.
Yeah, and they're scared of the unknown. As far as radio goes, if something's going well, just go with it. But they have that stupid clock in their head, and they're like, well, we only allowed 20 minutes for this guy to be funny or interesting, and we got to move on to like news or some horse shit.
Yeah, they have to go to
instead. Just throw all that shit away and just keep going.
All right, we're gonna read the news at noon. Like your fucking thing that you have to do every 15 minutes. All that,
and that bored the hell out of me when I got into radio. I mean,
they still do it. They still do it.
I got in and I was playing music and all that shit, and I'm like, this is stupid. If I can't talk and just have some kind of hang, then I'm gonna go and do something else.
How much has the radio business changed since the internet?
Oh, drastically.
Massively, right?
Yeah, and they're stupid because at the time you need personality-driven radio. They said, fuck that. So the two biggest formats on regular radio is sports talk, which anyone could do. No offense to those guys, but, you know, that stuff is easy to study. And then it's pop music. That's it. No talk shows are left, really.
I refuse to sit here and think that radio has to be nice. Why? Why does radio, out of any other medium, have to be nice? We are being now held to a standard where we have to be nice and make people feel good. Go screw!